guys! Welcome back to Making Food Monday. This week we're trying something entirely new. In fact, it's so new that I've literally never even tasted this meat before. Today, we're going to be trying venison tips in mushroom gravy. For today's recipe, we are going to need some cornstarch to thicken our gravy when we're finished. We're going to need some garlic, some mushrooms. I've got some butter, an onion, avocado oil, Worcestershire sauce, and some beef bouillon powder. And of course, the star of our show today is going to be our venison roast. And that should be all we need for our recipe today, guys. Now, I've never cooked venison meat before. I have also never tasted venison meat before, but one of Daddy's friends donated a little bit of the deer that he got while out hunting, and now we are going to be tasting for the very first time venison. Okay, guys, first step today is going to take our venison and we're going to cut this into nice, very small pieces, nice and thin, because venison does not have a lot of fat in it, and we want to make sure that we don't end up with something that's just too tough to eat. So we're going to try to cut this into very thin pieces so that we get a nice tender piece each time. Once we get all of our venison cut into nice, neat little strips, we're going to take some avocado oil and we're going to put that directly into the bottom of our pot, just like that. And now we're going to drop in here to our sear roast function. We're going to get that started. Once we have our oil heated up, we are going to start searing our venison in nice, small batches so that we can get a good sear on all of our venison. After a few minutes, we're gonna flip all of our venison over and get it seared on the other side as well. Now once we've removed it from the pan and we're ready for another batch, we're gonna add more oil for that second batch. And we're just gonna keep adding more oil to each batch to make sure we have a sufficient amount of oil in there, because again, venison does not have a lot of fat, a lot of its own fat. So we need to add more to give it that nice texture that we want. Now that I've got my last bit of venison in there, I'm gonna go ahead and add all of my meat right back to the pot. There we are. And I'm gonna use the juices that are in the pot to go ahead and deglaze the bottom. Make sure that I don't have anything stuck, because that's all of our flavor, and we don't want that stuck to the bottom of the pot. So get all of that off of there, like that. Good, good, good. We're gonna add 2.5 cups of water. There's 1, there's 2, and 1/2 cups of water. Up next, we need to add 3 teaspoons of beef bouillon powder. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. We also need to add 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. There's 1, and there's 2. We need 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. There's 1, and there's 2. We need to add 1 diced onion. Here we are, 1 fully diced onion. We're gonna mix all of this so all of these flavors get mixed together. Then we need to add 16 ounces of mushrooms. I messed up and only got 8 ounces of mushrooms, and I don't think my little Smartypants are gonna be upset with me about that. But you should get 16 ounces of mushrooms. And then we're gonna add our mushrooms right on top. We're gonna give those a little bit of a mix just so they're not all sitting directly on top, but we're not gonna do it too strenuously. We're just gonna kind of mix them in a little there so that we've got all the mushrooms basically on top, just like that. And for our last step, what we're gonna do is take 1 stick of butter. We're gonna cut this into tablespoons, and we're gonna set the entire cube of butter on top of our mushrooms and venison. And this step is important because venison doesn't have much fat. And even though we added our avocado oil while cooking it, this is gonna give it a much more velvety richness than just the avocado oil will. And that's it, guys. Now we're ready to seal up our pot. Then we're gonna drop down in here to our chicken function because that's our high pressure. We're gonna set that time cook up to 25 minutes and go. Okay guys, about an hour ago our time expired, which means our pin has already dropped, which is totally fine. We don't need to let the pressure out. We can just open it up. Ooh, what do we have here? Looks like venison and mushrooms. We better turn this into a gravy. So the next thing we're gonna need to do is thicken this juice. So we're gonna need 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Now I'm gonna put about the same amount of water in there and mix them together to make a cornstarch slurry. And I'll just mix the water and the cornstarch together. And now I'm gonna switch my pot from keep warm to sear roast and get that turned on so that we can bring this back to a boil and thicken our gravy. So I'm gonna add my cornstarch slurry right to that mix. And then I'm gonna keep stirring until it thickens. And there we have it, guys. Once it's thickened, we are all done. And there we have it, guys. Venison tips and mushroom gravy served over riced cauliflower, or for the kids, I've got it served over rice. Okay, Jax, it's ready and I've got it plated. Now we need our guinea pigs. Do it. Guinea pigs! It's a fidget pig. And a Jedi. Wait, that's an evil Jedi. And another spinny pig. And a daddy pig!
Spinny pig.
Who thinks it smells awesome?
Oh, me. Smells awesome.
Who wants to go first?
Me.
You know what? I think we'll start on this side of the table. Miss Mia, you're first.
Stop celebrating and eat.
Yes, be careful at the top.
Gravy's really good.
You like it? Taste that meat on top. I want to see if you like it. You can taste the tiny one if you want to.
That's good.
You're good?
It's so tender and it's sweet.
How many thumbs do you want to give that, Mia?
5.
Oh, it was so tender and so good. Do you give it a maybe? Jackson, you're next. Taste that little meat on top. I put a little meat on top so you can taste it.
Yep.
What do you think, mister? Is that good?
Hours later.
You like it? Thanks, man. Daddy, you're up.
Good. I am really excited to taste this. I've never had venison. I've always wanted to. I never had any game, so.
That's true. You have never had any game. Ooh.
Anyways. Okay. Really smells very, very good. When he was cooking, wow, the aroma was amazing. Here it goes. Wow. Surprisingly tender. I was thinking that because it's venison and it has very little fat, I thought it was gonna be a little tough. Wow, super tender. Super, super tender. Huge thumbs up. I am very impressed.
Thanks, Dad. Jordan. Oh, you're gonna eat your whole bowl. It's a good thing we got to you quick.
I know. It should be good.
Should be good.
I love
Let's see if you like it.
mushrooms
Careful top though.
Yeah, it's super tender.
I don't know. It has a weird kind of like metallic taste. It's really good, but
Metallic taste?
it's a really weird taste. But
Do you like it though?
yeah, I like the taste. It's like the perfect metallic taste. It's like if metallic taste could be good, it would be this.
Okay.
It's really good.
How many thumbs do you want to give that?
A couple times.
All right. Okay, guys, my final thoughts. Turns out venison's not my favorite. I don't care for the texture of the venison. The flavors in this recipe were really good, so if you like venison, you'll probably like this dish. The gravy itself, the mushrooms, was all really tasty. I just couldn't get over the texture of the venison itself. When you chew it up and it kind of gets that grainy, not my favorite. Daddy loved it. The kids didn't seem to mind it, but I can't do venison. So I don't think we'll be making this one again, and I don't think that's a problem because we don't really have access to venison. We're not hunters. So unless we get another venison roast from a friend who goes out hunting, I don't think I'll be making this one again. And even if we do, I'll be having something else, and I'll make this for Daddy because nope, not my favorite. So guys, who thought venison tips and mushroom gravy was yummy? I thought it tasted really good. I really could not handle the texture of the venison. Sorry, all you deer hunters out there. I am not a fan of deer. Maybe if I cooked it a different way or had jerky or some other way of having venison, I wouldn't dislike it so much. But I was not a fan of the texture today.
I just had, after I finished that first bowl, I just had a bowl of rice with a bunch of gravy on it.
Yeah, that gravy was tasty.
Very little meat. Yeah, I loved the gravy.
Yeah, the gravy was tasty. I think maybe if we made this same recipe again, but made it with beef, that would be delicious.
That would be absolutely.
So maybe we'll do that because I think that'd be really tasty. Maybe. I don't know. But for now, I think it's probably time to just get my Smartypantses to bed. So,
if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Want to make this channel strong? Share it with your friends. And now, good night, YouTube. See you tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. Poof! I like that dinner.